I found that what is missing in my community and for people like me is that we lost the ability to read. Meaning that, like, a lot of, like, for example, when I grew up, a lot of, like, the academic queer writing that I read around were queer people reading into, like, straight heterosexual narratives and, like, rescuing it from its trappings of heterosexuality and saying, hey, that's me. Or, you know, or like for example, like, looking at all, like, Meena Kumari or Rekha, writing about all these tragic figures, or, like, Betty Davis or any of these people. And for me, like, in some way, like, I feel like right now, and I mean, I miss the underground nature of gender and sexuality. Let me put it that way. I mean, I feel like the meaning that the more and more that people
are dissecting it.
Or no, or say something like, oh, you know, I'm growing my hair, or I'm a girl, I'm so girly. The more and more people say that, it's actually actually more and more difficult to be girly. For the girly person to be girly.
I know what you're saying. So
and so for me,
against the girl.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like in some way that, for example, when I went to gay parties when I was 19 and they were like, you know, being held without police permission, and the club, you know, it was being told that it's a party, and then suddenly men were showing up and the club suddenly had to deal with it, you know. And to that extent, to what the vibe or the feel of that party was, to now where, you know, it's at a 5-star on a rooftop, where cocktails are like 500 rupees. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, like, for me, like, I miss the grit, the thing that we did work. I don't know, like, for me, like, one of the things the only thing if you take away anything that I said from today or whatever, or anything, that I think, like, gender is play, but playing at gender is work. Like, it's not some casual dalliance with it in some way, right? It's not a fling. Like, once I decide to come to this side or whatever side I am, now I'm on the dark side. Like, whatever I do is crawling back way too much, or removing too many things from my body, for example, just in my case, like removing too many piercings, too many bangles to go back to this straight passing person or whatever, right? And I'm just saying that for me, cinema allowed me to read, you know, and right now, for example, if I look at queer cinema a lot, I mean, Ram and I, we've actually been in groups where we've discussed it, it's like everyone's dying of AIDS, or everyone's alone, or everyone's sad, and this is LGBT stories, and it's so depressing, you know, because I'm not, like, you know, I know that there are people, but I am not, and I see less of myself in a film now, I see less of myself in society now. So then for me, in some way, like, seeing Meena Kumari was like escape, was that in-between thing. And so for me, cinema allowed these strange negotiations, these strange entry points into saying, oh, some man will flirt with me like that, because no man was flirting with me, you know? So it was like, if I now insert myself or project myself into this person in the film, then it is my story, all these exciting things, right? And like, especially, which is why you pick like bratty girls or tomboy girls or girls who got into trouble, because that was who you imagined you were, because you were getting into trouble, you know, for being all these other things, right? And so I'm saying that I miss those sort of narratives in film now, where now I think that film is more just heterosexual, and then everyone's making queer cinema, some queer audience, you know? And like, you know, as in like, where mainstream film is so heterosexual, there's no entry point for anyone who is not, you know, completely butch or completely female, like feminine. You know, there's no entry point for them in cinema anymore, right? Like, everyone's hyper masculine or hyper feminine, right? Either you're Ranveer or Anushka or whatever.
That's how, right? It's always been.
No, but but if you look at our actresses from the old days, then not the most, like, they look beautiful, but they're not the most beautiful women. There was something. Or even the men, like, I mean, like, the men, yeah, like, I mean, Jitendra wasn't the hottest man in the world, you know, but, you know, if you wore a pair of white pants, it was hot, you know, but, like, it's like that.
If I have to interrupt you, Ram made a very interesting point the other day about the gods, and I really need to say that.
So, I mean, as we were talking about masculinity and femininity, that changes with age and time. And so that time having a hairy chest was being masculine. Now if you have a hairy chest, people will be like, ew, right? And like now, and what we project and what we look up to, if you look at posters of gods now versus 10 years ago, you'll see gods have six packs now, which they didn't have then. Right? It's a reflection of what we want to project as masculine and acceptable and hot. So that changes.
So I don't know about regional cinema as much, but I thought, contemporary, you want to call it commercial, popular Hindi cinema, I thought, a character like there was in Kapoor and Sons, which was a queer character, was a very good answer to what used to be the mid-2000s Dostana.
Yeah.
Where it was so nuanced, it was extremely, audiences kind of picked up the vibe if you watched it carefully. And then at the end they were like, yeah, I just thought about it all the time, but you know what, it's confirmed. And so I feel like people are getting there, it's just a journey we'll eventually get. And for something like that to be in popular cinema, like it wasn't this art.
Yeah, it was mainstream.
Yeah.
It was mainstream.
I think it's about reclaiming spaces, whatever we identify as, expanding the zone of safe space from within to our homes to our public spaces and reclaiming them for ourselves. I think that's the concept, right?
Closing comments from all three of you. I mean, if we have to make things better for ourselves, how can we go about it?
Just let people be.
Stop making fun. Stop sniggering.
Just stop
swearing.
I think there are no boundaries. Let's just put it that way. And we are all in extremely comfortable spaces in our lives where we can allow the other person to be. So I would just say that.
Basically, mind your own business.
It's actually simpler to live a non-judgmental life than to be burdened by your judgments. So it's much easier.
I think stop fighting yourself, like whoever you are and however you identify. Stop censoring yourself just because the surrounding expects. And that way, the equation completely changes. That when you are confident and you accept yourself, the world around you turns and accepts you because you know that there's no other way to it, right? And let be. That's it.
Joshua?
Make dramatic movies.
Very complicated. I would say grow a thicker skin.
I have a question.
Because I literally feel that if anything I have learned in nearly 33 years of walking on this earth is that the less I care, the better I am. But it's like, okay, Joan Rivers has this horrible joke, but she says it doesn't get better, you get better. And I like that because for me I feel like I've learned to negotiate a dark street better now, or some man staring at me now than I did when I was 16, and I'm better at it. It's not that the men have gotten better at the reverse, but I'm saying that I'm getting better at dealing with them. And so for me, I think that's the lesson that I like to take away, is that things are out there, they're not overnight changes or anything that's gonna happen. Where I'm gonna walk out of here and I'm gonna have within the first 10 minutes have an interaction that I know.
I really, I just have to say, because I say it in all social media, everywhere where there is discussion of masculinity, I just put this out there, that I have seen people, coming out. We all came from traditional households. We've all kind of grown, progressed in our own, internal evolutions. And that is true of men as well. I know of men who are actually extremely gender sensitive, who understand gender, and so this is not meant to be like oh my god, men have just gotten worse kind of a conversation. I have personally interacted with men who are very, very open to ideas, who are, sensitive, who understand the non-judgmental space. So being, coming from that cis heterosexual space, I really want to kind of put this out there that even, quote unquote, there are some genuinely woke men out there. So this is not meant to be like a, painting everybody with the same brush kind of a thing. But, these, we're probably generalizing, because we see more of this and less of the genuine woke men. So that is, it's just, this needs to be out there.
Just the last thing I want to say is like, learn to have the difficult conversation and learn to engage when something has completely opposite narrative, opposite viewpoint. Because to the time we talk and are open to see other people's perspectives, it just opens our own minds. Because there's so limited vision we have of our own lives. It's based on our experiences, the place we are born, the kind of family we are, and the education we have. What we are is based on so many various experiences. And different people have different experiences. Till the time we can engage with difference, it's not about accepting my way or your way, but having that conversation and realizing that there are more ways to look at life than just mine. I think that is a very good way.
So if I just have to summarize all of this, without doubt, we really have to find ways of opening up and changing ourselves a little, whether we like it or not, because there is going to be somebody in your friend circle, in your family, in your extended family, who is going to say, hang on, but this is not what I am. And it becomes, or this is how I am. I am a man in my mind, but I like to explore feminine things. And instead of putting labels, I think that would be a good starting point for you to understand that, hang on, I'm not going to pass a judgment here. I'm going to try to understand his point of view. And if we achieve that collectively as a society, if we change the way we raise our children, if we stay away from the stereotypes, if we even identify, hang on, this is the stereotype here, and let me not push it down, I think we will be a better lot. Thank you everyone, thank you for coming. This has been amazing. Thank you, No, so we do know each other.
We've known each other.
Yeah.